Welcome back to another episode of the Searley Talks Warriors podcast, proudly sponsored by Ortex. Today, I'm joined by one of last year's big recruits, a player who comes up a lot when you ask the boys who's the biggest joker in the team, second rower, Bayley Sironen. Bayley, cheers for jumping on, bro.
Hey, mate, thanks for having me. I don't know about the biggest joker. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, excited to be on, mate.
The boys rate your chat, so I'm looking forward to this one. Right,
really.
Let's kick things off by going back to how it all started for you, because I think it's probably a fair assumption to say that you've been brought up around the game of rugby league. So born and raised in Sydney, how old were you when you first picked up a footy ball, and how were you first introduced to the game?
Well, mate, I don't reckon I would have been more than a week old before I picked up a footy. You know, my old man used to play a bit, so I've been around it my whole life. I think I might have been conceived at Leichhardt Oval, to be honest. So sort of grew up around there. And yeah, I've got one older brother as well who's a big footy head who played a bit as well. So yeah, been around it for my whole life.
Yeah, nice. And you touched on it pretty lightly there, but your dad's a bit of a legend of the game. Tigers, New South Wales, and Aussie forward Paul Sironen. So I can imagine he's had a massive influence on you and your desire to want to play professional footy.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. You know, he was, one of my biggest role models growing up, and really wanted to, sort of emulate what he was able to do with his career, and, really proud of the man he is and sort of the reputation he has in the game. So that's something that, I've always strived to be like him. And yeah, it was obviously a massive influence in why I chose this career path.
And your older brother, you touched on that too, Curtis. He's a pro footy player. So no doubt you guys had some unreal games of backyard footy growing up. Do you think your old man and your brother have helped you in your footy career in terms of like what kind of advice, or have they been able to pass anything on to you?
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Look, yeah, both of them are probably the biggest influences I've had in my life. And, I was sort of thankful that Curtis got to, sort of go through, the professional athlete path before I did, because, I could watch and learn from him, and any mistakes he made, I sort of would be able to note down and try not to make myself. And I could see what worked for him and what didn't. And, just sort of, the sacrifices and stuff you need to do to make it in the sport. So really, really thankful to, have those two to lean on.
Sure. And you're obviously a gun footballer as a young lad yourself, named in Aussie Schoolboys, playing for the Tigers in the NYC, and then also representing New South Wales under 20s origin. Were you always in rep sides growing up?
Not always, mate. I was lucky. I had a lot of good players around me at the same age that I came through with and played a lot of footy with, which always helps. Making sides like New South Wales and the Australian Schoolboys, that was awesome. But, I was more so just playing for the fun of it, back growing up as a kid. So, look, that was really good memories that I've had, and yeah, really thankful for it.
In 2017, you made your NRL debut playing for the Tigers against the Cowboys. Debuts are always pretty special moments, but I can imagine this one would have been extra special for you given the history of your family with the club. So how did you find out you were going to make your debut, and what do you remember about your first game in the NRL?
Yeah, it was real special, mate. Ivan Cleary was the coach at the Tigers at the time. And, I sort of come into training. I was just a fringe player, and he sort of come up to me on the Tuesday and said, did you have anything planned this weekend? I'm going to give you a game. So, I was stoked with it. I was able to call my old man and my brother straight away. And look, they were stoked for me as well. And unfortunately we didn't get the win, but yeah, it was a really special day for my family and my friends. And, I was really thankful for Ivan for giving me an opportunity to play for the Tigers. The year after I actually left the club, but to say that I was a Tiger is something I hold dear to my heart. So yeah, really thankful for that.
Yeah, nice. And I asked quite a few of the boys this, but in that game, did you have like a highlight moment or even like a welcome to the NRL moment?
I remember we were playing the Cowboys, obviously. I was at marker once, and I think it was Jake Granville jumped out and dropped Taumalolo back under, and I was just going, oh shit, here we go. Yeah. So I was just, hang on for dear life. And that was sort of my first introduction to, like a superstar running at me. So, yeah, no, that was a real eye opener. That was for sure.
I can imagine. Big boy. And 2019 saw you draw the join the Bunnies. And then in 2020, a bit of a breakout season for you, playing 19 games that year. Do you look back at this season as one where you kind of really found your feet in the NRL?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Coming off a COVID break, it probably helped me a little bit. The break in footy, I really got to knuckle down and work hard on myself. And coming back from that, we had a couple of injuries at South, and Wayne gave me a shot, and I was thankful for that. And he sort of stuck solid with me. I built up a pretty good combination there with Cody and Dane Gagai and AJ on that left edge, and I was lucky to play a handful of games, and I just got a lot of confidence out of being left in the side and playing back-to-back weeks of rugby league. So I do think that was probably my best year of rugby league, and really thankful for the time I had there as well.
And that year, you guys made it through to the prelim finals, and unfortunately a close loss to the Panthers. But how was that experience playing finals footy, such a big game?
Yeah, mate, that was awesome. That's why you play the game of rugby league, to play at that end of the year. And although we came close and didn't quite get there, I take a lot out of playing those finals games, and it's something that I'm itching to get back into playing as well. So we'll be working hard to get there this year.
For sure. And you mentioned Wayne was your coach at the time, and you hear so many stories about him, both as a coach and as a person. How was working under Wayne, and do you kind of have a favorite Wayne Bennett story or moment?
Mate, it was awesome. He's got such a different demeanor to anything I've ever experienced. And, but he's definitely a different person to what you see in the media. He's quite funny, and he's got a dry sense of humor. I remember the first day that he signed with the club. He walked into the gym. There would have been a handful of us in the gym, and we all went up to introduce ourselves and put our hand out to shake his hand, and he would just brush her. He wouldn't shake your hand back until you sort of got his respect. So that was a bit of an eye-opener. He sort of, left you stranded there. But he's a really good man, Wayne. Really thankful for the time I got to spend with him. He's a great coach and a great man. So, yeah.
Unreal. And in November 2020, you signed a 3-year contract with the Warriors. So how did that deal come about, bro? And what was it that attracted you to join the club?
It sort of happened out of nowhere, to be honest with you. I'd actually re-signed with South for a year, and then my management sort of come to me and said, look, there's an opportunity for you to sign with the Warriors for 3 years. And I sort of was umming and ahhing about what to do. And then I got on the phone to Brownie, and he sort of told me about the opportunities I'd have. And, I'd be playing a lot more football. And he sort of just convinced me that, it's going to be a good step for you. And I got a bit of security there with 3 years. And I thought, the squad that we had over there is something that we could really build on. And, blokes like Adam were going to the club as well. And, it was just an exciting opportunity for me. I'd never moved out of Sydney before. Unfortunately, I haven't got to go over to New Zealand yet. But look, I was really excited to do that, and I still am. And I'm really thankful for what I've done. I don't regret anything, and I love the club and my teammates and the people around here. So I'm really thankful for it.
Great to hear. And game 1 of your Warriors career, you got the win, and you actually scored a try as well against the Titans. So an unreal debut. Since then, it seems like you've really found a home at the club, securing a regular spot in the 17 and playing some great footy. So what have you enjoyed the most about your time at the Warriors so far?
Oh, mate, just the people that you get to come in to work with every day. We've got a lot of different characters in the club, and if you're having a good or a bad day, you can go in there and they're going to get around you. And I think that the culture that we've established this year has really been building into something that, we can build a foundation on. And I don't see finals football being too far away for us. Just the people that I get to come in to work with every day has been awesome.
Yeah, awesome. And what do you think the kind of main differences have been at the Warriors compared to your previous setups? Is there anything that stands out that's quite different?
Well, it's definitely more of a family and cultural feel around the club. It's something I've never really experienced before, and I've got to really learn a lot about, my teammates and their stories and where they come from and sort of why they play the game. That's been a big eye opener for me. And obviously, being with COVID and stuff, having not been able to get over to New Zealand, that's obviously been a big difference. We sort of been on the road for 2 years now, and it's been a bit strange, but like I said before, the people that we have here have really helped, me settle into the club, and I'm really excited to get back over to New Zealand and get set up.
Nice. And you've sort of developed a bit of a reputation as like a Mr. Fix-It almost, having the ability to play multiple positions at a high level, which is an asset in any team. Is that a role that you embrace?
Well, look, mate, it's been a bit of a blessing and a curse, to be honest, for my career. I grew up playing as a 5'8", up until I probably was 17 or 18. I got moved to lock forward and back row. So the skills that you learned growing up, you try to hold on to and maintain, and it's become an asset for me. But in saying that, it's hard to lock down a certain position when you're sort of, covering a few. But the way I look at it is, I've got a job to do in this team, and, wherever the coaches and my teammates need me to, play, I'm happy to do that. And, it means I sort of need to work on a few different things at training, but, if it's going to help the team, then I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, mad. And you've been based in Australia your whole Warriors career, as you mentioned. So are you looking forward to heading back to New Zealand to play later in this year, and in particular, play your first game at Mount Smart against the Tigers?
Yeah, mate, it's going to be an awesome experience. It's something that, I planned on getting set up and get affiliated with, the town and the home fans as well, last year, and we didn't get the opportunity to do that. So to get a game back over there is going to be massive for the club and the community. And it's something that I know all the boys are itching to get to. We can't wait for that round. And hopefully, it's going to be a sellout crowd, and we'll put on a good performance for the home fans as well. So something I'm really looking forward to.
Nice. And I ask all the Aussie boys this, but what have the Kiwi lads kind of told you about back home? Is there anything they've been saying in particular? It's not going to be as warm. Bring a few jackets, but look, I knew that going into a signing with the club. So look, I'm ready to embrace everything that that New Zealand has to offer, and I'm fully committed. So I can't wait to get over there. Yeah, nice. And a quick bit of footy chat currently. Obviously a tough result on Monday night, but rather than focus on the result, you kind of talk about the response. So is it just a matter of reviewing the game, taking the learnings from it, and then just focusing on moving forward?
Yeah, mate, look, the short turnaround's probably been a blessing for us as well. Win, lose or draw, we were always going to have to sort of flash that game early and look ahead. So the fact that, it wasn't a great performance is probably helped by the short turnaround. We didn't really have time to sort of dwell on it. We just got to get our bodies right, take the good things, flush the bad things, and move forward, mate. So we've had a good response today, and we've got captain's run tomorrow, so we'll be raring to go Saturday.
Nice. And there were a few unfortunate injuries picked up, in particular that knock to Dallin. Is it tough to kind of bounce back and refocus and try finish a game after an injury like that? Because you guys obviously spend a lot of time together and you have a close bond. So I can imagine it's not easy to see your mate cop a blow like that. Yeah,
mate. Look, it's, injuries are a part of our game, unfortunately. And what we saw with Dallin was, it's never nice to see. We've got a good medical staff and people that we rely on to make sure he's okay. So we weren't too stressed about that. You sort of more hope that his family and friends aren't too stressed about it. And, as bad as it is to see, we still got a job to do, unfortunately. But look, you never want to see it. Thankfully, Dallin's okay. He's doing all right. And, he'll do his the protocols for concussion to get himself right to play, and probably won't be this week with a short turnaround, but next week. And, obviously Joshy picked up that knee injury, unfortunately, as well. So that was another one. But look, injuries are a part of the game, but that's why we have, 36 blokes ready to go. So.
Yeah, nice. And you mentioned the short turnaround, the boys back at home, and Redcliffe's been a pretty happy hunting ground for you guys so far this year. So I guess what are the key focuses heading into the Raiders game? Where do you think you guys can target them? Or is it more just about the effort you guys put out on the field?
Yeah, I think this week's going to be more just focus on us, mate. Take some learnings from last week and really try and, just show some effort and some desire this week. That's all we're really asking of each other. The technical side will come. We're all, trained and professional in that aspect. So we know what we need to do. It's just about getting your attitude and your mindset right this week. And we'll be able to tell by the first 5 or 10 minutes whether we're on or not. And, that's a big focus for us as our start. So we just want a good attitude and a good mindset.
Yeah, nice. And ripping into some quick fire stuff now, a bit more casual. What's your favorite things to do outside of footy, bro?
Mate, there's about 10 or 11 cafes down around where I live at the moment. So whenever I can, I'll go down there with a few of the boys, have a yarn and just sort of chill out, mate. I'm not a big gamer. A lot of the boys are on the games. I've got no idea about that sort of shit. So I don't really play that much, but just hanging out with some of the boys.
Yeah, nice. And who's the biggest joker in the team? As I mentioned, this is where you get brought up, but a couple other culprits as well. So who would you say is the biggest joker in the team?
Oh, mate, I don't know who's saying me. I've got no idea. Maybe, mate, Jazz. Jazz is so annoying. He's just always got something to say. Mate, Adam's another one. Adam's always got something to say. He's a bit funnier than Jazz, but he's always got something. Mate, we've got a few pests in the team. There's like young Walsh. He's very chirpy as well.
Yeah.
And probably Rocco Berry as well. He doesn't shut up.
Nice.
We've definitely got a few.
You need a few. That's good. And run it straight challenge. Who's the one warrior? Who's your teammate you would at least like to run it straight at?
Who I wouldn't want to run it, mate? Probably Marcelo. Marcelo Montoya just throws everything into every rep that he does. I'd hate to run it straight at him. Everybody else, I don't run it straight at anyone, but probably Mars would be one that I'd hate to run it at.
Yeah, nice. And do you follow or support any other professional sports teams outside of league?
I've tried my hand at that NFL fantasy last year.
Tough,
didn't go too well, but I loved it. I've been a Rams fan for a couple of years now, and it was good to see them go well, mate. And probably NFL is the only other real one. There's a few boys that reckon they know a bit about NBA, but I don't know. I don't know if they're true or not, but probably just NFL, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of casual NBA fans, that's for sure. And your favorite players to watch in the NRL, if you're just parked up on the couch and there's some games on, who do you prefer to watch?
Mate, I've got a lot of friends that play, different clubs. So I try to support them and watch them. Bloke like Mitch Moses is playing awesome footy at the moment. I love seeing him go well. And watching Luke Brooks kick that field goal the other day, I was really stoked for him as well. Who else? Brandon Smith's good to watch when he's not beating us. He's an awesome player, and a fit and fire, and Tommy Turbo is awesome as well, mate. So, there's quite a few.
You have to agree with those for sure. And some listener questions now. Some people sent these through. The first one's from Warriors Anonymous, and they say, love your versatility, but what's your preferred position to play?
Oh, who knows? It depends who we're playing. I like playing that sort of lock middle role where you can ball play a bit, but when you got teams that just going to run it straight at you and run over you, it's not too fun. So I'll probably play my best football in the back row, I reckon.
Yeah, fair question, fair call. And Tom Harris says, what have you liked about being coached by Brownie? How has he improved your game, do you think?
Brownie's is really honest, mate. If you see something going wrong, he's quick to come up to you and have a chat with you. He's pretty open like that. And I really respect that with a coach. And, when he's not talking about footy, which isn't too often, he's actually pretty funny as well. So, his honesty and having a yarn and having a beer with him is pretty cool too.
Yeah, nice. And the next one comes from Sam Taylor, and he says, with your old man being a former Balmain great, did you spend much time around the club and some other legends like Blocker Roach?
Yeah, mate. Well, funny thing, my old man, where we grew up in our street, Blocker actually moved into that street as well when I was probably, 5 or 6. So him and Dad are best mates, and we grew up together. And he's got 3 young blokes as well who there was a few competitive games of street footy going on between them 3 and my brother and I, and, a couple of other kids in the street as well. So, like I said before, I grew up around Leichhardt Oval, and in that sort of footy environment. So, you know, the smell of tiger balm and strapping tape, you know, I'm really used to it. So, look, yeah, really thankful for being able to, you know, sort of have that experience as a kid.
Unreal. And the last one's from Curtis Smart. And he says, if you were stranded on a desert island, which 3 Warriors lads would you want with you and why?
Oh, shit. Far out. I'd take Ewan Aiken because he's just tough and he'd go out and do shit. He reckons he's pretty smart, so he might be able to keep us alive. I'd get maybe Adam Fanua-Blake just to carry stuff and make me laugh. And, you know, throw in, I might take Chanel Harris-Tavita just to look at him because he's a good sort.
He has a good sort.
Yeah.
Agreed. Great answers. Well, that's it from me, bro. Thanks for taking the time to jump on and have a yarn. All the best for Saturday and the rest of the season. And us fans back here are well and truly behind you. So go well and up the Warriors.
Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.